America is under attack, and some federal judges are fighting back against convicted felon Donald Trump's executive orders and unprecedented actions taken by his first buddy, Elon Musk. This morning, Musk's Doge team was temporarily blocked from accessing Treasury Department data, including the Social Security and bank account numbers for millions of Americans. 2 federal judges have blocked Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. And last night, the effort to place thousands of staffers from the USAID, put them on leave, that was temporarily blocked. Although Trump's already trying to literally erase it by removing the agency's signage from its D.C. headquarters, one letter at a time. Meanwhile, a different federal judge is letting Musk's team maintain access to the Labor Department, including sensitive information that could include Americans' medical and financial records. Folks, it's only been 19 days of Trump 2.0. And considering the pace at which Trump and Musk have been making headlines, Democratic voices are being challenged by all the chaos.
We are here today as elected members of Congress. We're here today because an unelected billionaire and his team have been given full and unfettered access to our taxpayer money and our government. They campaigned across the entire country, telling people they were going to fight for working people, but they lied. They want to use the government to further enrich these corrupt billionaires and corporations.
And what is the president doing today? While millions of Americans worry about their future, he's golfing, of course. Joining me now is Florida Congressman Maxwell Frost. Congressman, listen, you've been protesting all week. I've seen you. I've seen this on your social media, including the following. Take a quick look.
What do we need?
I mean, Maxwell, I could spend a long time telling you what we need. My question for you, what can you do?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me on. I mean, obviously, everybody knows we're in the minority, but we have to make this decision. Do we want to act like we're in the minority or do we want to act like the opposition? And the fact of the matter is, of course, our institutional levers that we can pull to stop these things are limited. But the things we can do, we should do them. Even if ultimately it doesn't stop something, we should work to delay, to obstruct, to try to stop the things that are going to negatively impact our constituents. We can show up to these federal buildings and make sure that people across the country know exactly what's going on, and the fact that a lot of their federal elected officials have been shut out from the process. And it's not even just Democrats, it's Republicans too in Congress that have no idea what's going on. They're just not saying anything because they bow to Elon Musk, they bow to Donald Trump. So it's litigation, working with the outside groups, it's protest and mobilization, making sure that we're protesting, doing direct action. We need people to be on the phones calling Republican members of Congress to tell them to grow a spine and do something. There's a bill that Hakeem Jeffries is introducing that would help stop a lot of what Elon Musk is doing. If every Democrat gets behind it, it means we only need three Republicans to get behind it too. So calling those Republicans in those frontline districts are going to be really important. And then us on the inside, we need to work at using the parliamentary procedure and the different procedures that we can in committee to stop, delay, and obstruct the worst parts here of Donald Trump's agenda. And we saw an example of this the other day in the Oversight Committee. Our ranking member, Jerry Connolly, called for a vote to subpoena Musk, caught the Republicans off guard. We almost won that vote, even though we're outnumbered on the committee. So we got to keep doing things like that and hold their feet to the fire.
Yeah, so Maxwell, I'm accused often of being too optimistic and being too kind of sunny about things. But even I am kind of frustrated with the fact that this boils down to just a numbers game sometimes at the end of the day. We're trying to get a certain number of Republicans not to sign on to a lot of this. So it sounds to me that you're saying that some of the traditional ways that people's voices have been heard over time, protesting, getting out, calling your congressmen, calling your senators, that's the route that people should be taking? Because it sounds to me also we may be delaying things from happening, but it sounds like they're happening nonetheless.
Protest is really important. It's one of multiple things people should do. Obviously, we want to make sure we take it back to the House in 2 years, but we can't wait 2 years and just not do anything. And so, of course, we need people involved in the elections, making sure that we beat these Republicans, we take these gavels. But in the interim, protest, direct action is something they can do. Calling these members is something they can do. And look, we've had some wins because the public spoke out. Look at the OPM memo. If no one spoke out, if no one raised hell on the fact that the entire federal government had a big freeze, they wouldn't have rescinded that OPM memo. Right? Look at the tariffs. Donald Trump went back on the tariffs for Canada and Mexico, and he didn't get anything from those countries. They literally told him, I'm going to do something I was already going to do, and he backtracked. Why? Because the public sentiment was, this is going to raise prices, and it was going to raise prices, and so he took a step back. If we go back to the first Trump administration, after the shooting that happened in Las Vegas, guess what? People rose up, they protested, and Donald Trump implemented a bump stock ban on guns. That was a big deal when it happened. So we have to realize that even though everything is crazy, this is part of the plan. Steve Bannon's famous quote is flood the zone. And when they flood the zone, their hope is that we'll do what a lot of people are doing right now, which is say it's chaos, there's nothing we can do. We might as well just let them run the whole damn country for 4 years. We can't allow that to happen. History has shown with this president too, that if we speak up, sometimes we'll be successful.
Concerned he's actually making our nation less safe?
I'm not concerned. I know he is making our nation less safe. And it takes too long. It takes a long time to explain how. But and I alluded to it. These CIA agents, these FBI agents are well trained. Many have learned of different languages. Many are expert at developing sources. Now, sources are double agents from other governments who are giving us information. That information is essential to how we defend our homeland and our national security on a global stage. If you are firing these people, you are putting in lackeys for Donald Trump who have no experience, no ability to do this. There isn't a single double agent who is going to continue to give information to one of Donald Trump's buffoons that he just places in the CIA to do his dirty work. And so if we don't have those sources, we aren't getting intelligence. And then if our allies think that we're going to abuse the information that they give for political purposes, or we're not going to protect it with Tulsi Gabbard or Kash Patel overseeing it, which they won't, then they're not going to share information. So we are going to get so much less critical intelligence that we use every day, and it doesn't get publicized. We use it every day to stop terrorist attacks, to stop massive drug transactions and criminal enterprises, to stop so many things that jeopardize our daily public safety and national security. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, Dean. I could go through so many other ways in which this purge eliminates people who are good, patriotic Americans. Frankly, in the FBI, the vast majority are Republicans, but no one knows because they're apolitical and nonpartisan. They're just trying to make sure that our laws are upheld and that Americans are kept safe. And by attacking them, by removing senior officials, you are removing hundreds and hundreds of years of expertise and experience and institutional knowledge, and that jeopardizes every single American.
In the past week, Elon Musk and his so-called Department of Government Efficiency have accessed the personal private information of tens of millions of Americans and sensitive data about public and private entities, Social Security numbers, addresses, tax returns, and more. This unelected group, led by the world's richest man, is not authorized to have this information, and they explicitly sought this unauthorized access to illegally block payments that millions of Americans rely on, payments for health care, child care, and other essential programs. Today, Democratic attorneys general are taking action to keep Americans' personal data secure, to keep sensitive information about Americans private, and to uphold our Constitution. We have filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration for giving unauthorized individuals access to these immensely sensitive records in violation of the law. President Trump does not have the power to give our private information away to whomever he wants. And he does not have the power to cut federal spending that Congress approved, much less to do so by giving the richest man in the world the keys to all Americans' most sensitive information. As Democratic Attorneys General, we are suing to stop this unprecedented and unauthorized attack and to protect your personal information. As I've said before, no one is above the law, and I will not hesitate to uphold the rule of law and protect.
At my direction, we are going to make the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. great again. I have decided to immediately terminate multiple individuals from the board of trustees, including the chairman, who do not share our vision for the golden age in arts and culture, Trump wrote on his social media website. We will soon announce a new board with an amazing chairman, Donald J. Trump. In a statement later on his website, the Kennedy Center said it was aware of Trump post. We have received no official communication from the White House regarding changes to our board of trustees. The statement said, we are aware that some members of our board have received termination notice from the amortization. The statement continues.